Hi everyone, Elisa with Jots Designs. In this video, I will be using JDiction 4-hour resin. It's a 1-to-1 ratio epoxy resin. I've got Color Joy's alcohol inks from Dryer Days Art Studio in Prussian Blue and Mossy Green, Jacquard's Pinata Blanco Blanco, and this fun Lotus mold that I got from Dryer Days too. First, I'll put a little of the resin into a medicine cup and set that aside for the white. Then I'll pour the rest into the mold, but be sure not to fill the mold up at this point because you'll be adding the inks and the white on top of it. To help with the bubbles, I grabbed my heat gun and I pointed at the stream pouring into the mold, and this helps pop some of the bubbles. Then I'll take some silicone brushes, also from Dryer Days Art Studio, and pull out any bubbles that were caused due to the mold itself, especially around the edges. But you'll see later that I didn't do a good job, so be sure to check all edges of your mold. For the white, you want to make sure you shake it very well to get it mixed. I have a little over ½ an ounce, so I added 30 drops of the white and got that mixed in well. Then I start adding the alcohol inks. For this one, I wanted it to go from green to blue, and I didn't overlap any because they'd mix a bit on their own, and when I swirl after adding the white, it'll mix as well. Then I pinch the little medicine cup to create a smaller stream, and I add the white all around in a swirling motion, making sure to get it up into each point as well. Then I use the silicone brush and make little swirling motions in just the top little bit of resin. And I started at the bottom, working my way back and forth all the way to the top. It might be the temperature of my room or the amount of humidity or maybe just the quantity of resin I'm using, but I found that I've never been able to demold this resin at 4 hours, but usually about 6 hours I can. Still, it's much faster than many resins out there. You can see that by working my way from bottom to top, I was able to mix the green and the blue a little in the middle, but keep them separate at the bottom and the top. Now I want to fill in the areas that are indented, and for that I'm going to be using Pebeo Fantasy Prisme paint. I got this set on Amazon. Check out the description for links to products and my Amazon store, and remember, by making any purchase using one of my links or from my store, you'll be helping out my channel a lot. I'll be using violet for this project, and definitely make sure you stir the paint well before using it. At first, I started using a paintbrush and add little drops to the indented areas, but I realized it would take me forever to do it that way, so I grabbed some pipettes and added paint that way instead. Just take your time, but don't worry if you spill a little. You can easily wipe it off with a paper towel, or if it dries, you can gently scrape it off the resin where you don't want it. I let the paint dry for 24 hours just to make sure it was fully cured. I had some spots that had holes because of the bubbles I missed getting out. I try to show you, but it's hard to see with this camera, so I'm sorry about that. So I grabbed some tape and I used the straight edge to make a barrier over those holes so that the resin wouldn't spill out in those spots. And this is why you want to make sure you get those bubbles out in the first place. I got those covered up, so now I can get the top coat on. I used the heat gun to help get rid of bubbles and make the resin flow a little easier across the piece. Then I go around and bring the resin first into all of the corners. And then I realize that I missed covering a hole, so I get that covered up before it's too late. If you do spill over the edge a little, you can get that cleaned up with a Q-tip and a little alcohol. And if you don't clean it up, then the resin will most likely just continue to flow off the piece in that spot until it's leveled out. I go around and make sure the resin is pulled all the way to the edge. I added enough resin to give it a slight dome. Not too much, but I didn't want it flat either. And here it is cured. I love how it turned out and all the texture that's given between the alcohol inks and the Pebeo paint. Let me know what you think in the comments and give the video a like, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.